Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices, and looking at the S&P here. We're looking for from wave 4 to wave 5 here of wave 3. There's a little bit more to go into this, and that should complete this week, and then we should be working on our corrective intermediate wave 4 pattern here. And then up for wave 5 in 2018. And as you know, this is a serious top up through here. And let's move into the 4-hour chart here just to break this down a little bit. So from this wave 4 here, we're looking for wave 5 here of minute degree, then the orange is minor degree and intermediate degree here. So we're looking for 5 waves up here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. The spike came in through here and moved through the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and also the just seeing if I could look at that differently. Then I probably can as well. Yeah, and this spike here for wave 4 and then wave 5 up here. So we're looking at another little 5 waves in this little section here. So I think looking into group 2 here would be a starting point. So 65, 72 here and 80. Sure, it might push up even higher to the 2700 here. As I mentioned earlier with these markets, is that to go to the hourly chart here. That the 2000, the 600, well, I was call it number 6, but in this case 2600 and 2700, they're quite important, but this particular one in here, the 2650 or the 50, becomes, well, look, the 600 is important, the 700 is important, and this is also important as well. And what I find with this one here, it's a really good number to understand, the 65 number, because it never really gives you the 600 will give you the bottom and the 700 will give you the top, so to speak, but the 2650 here, the 665 number here, will give you the balance of the correction, and not only sort of what we're seeing here as well here, but also coming back down the other side. That's where it becomes really valuable, because you'll find that there'll be a balance between the buyers and the sellers on this line here, and you'll be able to see once that becomes the resistance that it's really just a fine balance point, and that's where it will break from and move down from that point. And on the just on the tick chart here, we can start looking at the 5 waves up here from wave 4 low here. If I can just squash this back in here a little bit. It did come down further than I expected, but it was kind of interesting really. I need to go back over the count going back up now. I know on the DJ here, just on the 1-hour chart, our target was right down here, and it spiked because this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and it did spike all the way down into that space there, and the same thing goes here as well. So we'll be looking for wave 1 and 2 that will probably already be in play here, because normally wave 3 comes to the top here, and that's why it sort of spends time here before it sort of moves up further there. But I want to go back to the S&P, but before I go there, the Nasdaq is the same as well, slightly different count, but we'll be looking up at the 65 number here as well. It's the same count, just different, labeled in a different degree of structure, but I'm okay with that for the time being. But once again here as well, with this market, we'll be looking for 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 coming up into this space here before it finishes. And the other important point here too, the European markets have already got its wave 3 in here, and they've started to move down, but they won't really sort of move down really quickly until we start seeing wave 1 here and then wave 3 coming into this space here as such. So this is the one that we really want on the short trade here. But coming back into, and we'll look at maybe next time we'll look at the, where are we here? Here we go. we'll look at some of the stocks as well in the Nasdaq that are driving them higher. I mean, this particular pattern here, by the way, is the same for the US banks as well. So Citigroup, Morgan's, and so on. They're all on their lows of wave fours as well. So I think we're long in Citi. So we'll continue to play this to the upside, and then this week I probably won't put out any sort of long trades in the US. I really want to be looking for short trades, but obviously I can't really go long this week while this is going on. Going to top out here, and then on the short side, we need to get into the short side, but we can't really get into the short side until we get up into this space here. And also with short trades as well, I really like to see the first 5 waves down and then the retracement and then start to move in. But in this case here, we're looking at wave 1 and 2 here perhaps, and then all of this is the wave 3 to the upside here, because I always look towards the tops, then wave 4 and then wave 5 making a new high above here, and that's why I was looking in group 2 here. It could go higher, but let's just see how we go with this. And this long trade here, this is just in hindsight, and I'm just sort of, I'm just pointing it out for new folk, is that, this is from 2,600 on the trading level side. We've got 10, 20 and 30. So we know that 1, 2 and 3 here is all part of group 1 here. This is the midpoint here, and then this is group 2 here. So between 600 and 700, we've got the Fibonacci numbers of 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8 here, and I put in 65 and 72 for other reasons. But we know that if we get a nice tested support, or we get support on we get a classic trading levels pattern, and we get support on top of number 3 here, we always go long. So that's there for, just to explain that. But it wasn't put there as a particular trade in this particular case. So the other point with this too, that I could just reconfigure this. I think one of the most important things here now is not so much the entry if you are long or thinking about getting in long, but it's the stop here. So we shouldn't see the market drop below this point here, and if you're long already, you would take some profit here, and then you would look to get back in on a retracement, or get back in on support over here. Then you take part profit at 65, and then you take the rest of it at 72 here. If 72 becomes the tested support in terms of a classic trading levels pattern, then you can go long again, and then you can look to also add on top of 80 and then exit it at the 2700 area here. But we'll get the count here on Monday. We'll see how quick this market moves along here. Alrighty, cheers.